takes, 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 takes. Calculation. How do you come up with a move on the chessboard? What system do you use in order to find the best possible variation? Hi everyone, this video is brought to you by you, all of you guys. I published this video about how to calculate in chess and you actually liked it. Not only you liked it, but you asked for part 2. So here is part 2, calculation, captures. Before watching this video, I want to ask you something. 95% of you are not subscribed. If you enjoy this content, please put the thumbs up and click the button. Thank you. Now, let's dive in. We have an algorithm. Checks, captures, threats. CCT. Always go for this rule. Today, we'll focus on captures. Now, if you haven't seen the video about checks, I highly recommend you to watch it first, right on this link. Or that link. What are captures in chess and why are they important? A capture is when you take an opponent piece on the board and take it with one of your pieces. At first glance, it seems simple. Take more material, win more. In practice, not everything is so easy. Captures are not only a way to win the material, but also to create threats, change pawn structure, open lines for your pieces, and sometimes lure your opponent into a trap. It's a trap! Thinking about captures during a chess game means evaluating which pieces you should and should not take, which ones are better left alone, and how your opponent might respond. What is the logic behind this CCT method? Why does it include captures? When you look at the best move, it's often easier to start categorizing your candidate moves. The checks, captures, and threats method suggests looking into the moves in this exact order. Checks first, it can also be a checkmate. If no checks, then captures. And if you have no captures, then you look for threats. Why do captures come second? Captures really force the game. It's simple. If you take the opponent's queen and they cannot take back, then you're probably gonna win the game. We always say look for the most forced moves first. Checks really force your opponent to protect their king, while captures, honestly, they can do whatever they want, except for they should probably capture back if they can. There are different types of captures, and it's very important to recognize them all. Let's take a look at this example. Material capture, simply by taking a piece. For example, bishop takes a pawn with a check. Because it's a check, you should look at it first, and only after look for knight takes. Type number 2, a caption with a tempo. It is a caption that also creates a threat. Like for example here, white to move, we can take this knight on f6. Now this is just a trade, because black takes back with a pawn, opening their king. This caption only led to a trade. Now white to move, and white can take not this pawn because it's protected by the queen, but this one on h6, and attack the rook. Therefore, create a threat. Type number 3, a caption that also creates a tactical threat, opening a file or a line for another piece. Watch this. e4, e5, knight f3, f6, Ben Feingold never play f6, and now we have a sacrifice of the knight, capturing the pawn, but I just take back. Well, we give away the knight for a pawn, but we open the file, the line, the diagonal for our queen. Check, king moves, or more commonly known g6, and now queen takes e5, double attack, king, rook, and white won the game. Type number 4, a capture that is leading to a trade that you are interested in according to the plan, according to the position. Take a look at this one. White has a strong knight on d5, which is an outpost, a typical plan for any Sicilian, especially of this type, with d6 and e5. d6 is a backwards pawn, d5 is an outpost. So now black is controlling this outpost with the knight. And here white has 2 possible captions, actually 4 or 5, but a lot of captions. So we don't consider the captures on b5 because they're not logical. Remember from the first video, I told you, always look for a logical candidate. Let's say you are not a computer, because you are not a computer. You cannot calculate all moves at the same time. You have to focus on which moves you're spending your time and which moves you're not. It's also known as chess intuition. So according to your chess intuition, you are not probably going to look at knight takes b5 or bishop takes b5 because you don't want to give away pieces. You're going to look at knight takes e7, knight takes f6, or bishop takes f6. Now, knight on d5 is an outpost. We want to have this knight here. So therefore, are we going to take with this knight the bishop? Bad bishop that is surrounded by its own pawns? No. Are we going to take the knight with the knight? No, because we want to keep the knight on d5. So the best move here is going to be capturing the knight on f6, giving away our bishop, trading the bishop for a knight, because after bishop takes, we got our great and strong knight against a bad bishop on f6. How to evaluate captures? When you see a possibility to capture or take a piece, you should always ask yourself, am I gaining material? What is the value of the piece I'm capturing versus the value of the piece I'm giving away? If you're not sure about the value of the pieces or relative and absolute value of the pieces, check out this video that I made just recently about everything pieces. Question number 2. How many times a piece is defended and how many times a piece is attacked? Will I be left undefended? You always need at least one more defender than attacker if you want to make sure your piece or pawn is safe. Let's take a look at this example. Black just played d5. Is this a good move? Let's calculate. White has 1, 2, 3. 3 attackers. How many defenders does black have? Queen and knight. Only 2. Therefore, it is a mistake. Black has just blundered a pawn. Now let's take a look at this example. White goes knight to d5, attacking the knight. The knight is pinned. Can black just take this knight back? No. The question you should ask yourself is, does the capture open lines or diagonals for my pieces or my opponent's pieces? As here, the bishop would just take your queen, so that doesn't work. Next question you should ask yourself is, will the capture weaken my position or give opponent the initiative? How will my opponent respond? For instance, in this position, white thought, aha, whoa, an extra knight, juicy, and took it, which is a huge blunder and a mistake, because knight was protecting the pawn on h2, and now after capturing, we have the battery with the queen and the bishop. So queen comes here to h2, the king is attacked, has to move, and now, I guess you can find it yourself, queen h1, checkmate. Because the king cannot enter here, because there is a rook. Does the capture fit my overall strategy? Here, white has 2 possible captions, the pawn and the bishop. If you just take the bishop thinking, aha, they're gonna take back and I approach my king and it's a draw, you are wrong. This doesn't work. If you get distracted and take this bishop, black is not gonna take back. This ain't no checkers, it's chess. Black instead is gonna promote to a queen and therefore win the game. So instead, white should absolutely sacrifice their bishop for the pawn. And now after bishop takes, yes, we're down a pawn, but my friends, I offer a draw. This position is drawish because black cannot win with just one bishop. If the answer is yes to most of these questions, you probably are okay and safe to capture. When to trade and when not to trade is a completely different subject. It really depends how much you understand the position, how much you can evaluate it. If you are interested, if you want, I can make another video about it. Just let me know in the comments down below, okay? There are a few things that you need to keep in mind when you're trying to make the decision, should you trade or not. Here is a big one. If you're attacking, especially if you already sacrificed some material, try not to trade queens. On the other hand, if you're up material and you want to convert your advantage, your material advantage, you should probably trade queens because this is how you approach the endgame. When you're attacking and you have a queen, it's called the momentum. You don't want to kill it. Think about it as you have 10 apples and I have 11 apples. We're almost the same, right? It probably doesn't really make a difference. But if you have 0 apples and I have 1 apple, then you are jealous. In this position, white has 2 possible captures. Obviously, first and foremost, you're gonna look for bishop takes bishop, but then rook takes, you take, king takes, and honestly, probably you might even lose this endgame, even though it's gonna be a pawn endgame, but takes, 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 takes. Your opponent's king is strong, and our king is very weak. Black's king is active, white's king is passive, so I don't have high hopes. Plus, black can create an outside pass pawn, which is very dangerous. Hi. You want to solve a puzzle for me real quick?
What is it?
Are you okay appearing on video?
Yeah, sure.
You want to solve the puzzle real quick?
Sure.
Okay, white to move.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh. F4, the bishop has to move, probably gonna take on b2, and then f5. I discovered check from the bishop, and then you're gonna win the rook.
So what's your move? F4. That's very sneaky of you, but that's not the first thing that comes to my mind. I actually love your suggestion. Do you have any other alternatives when it comes to captures? Something simpler.
Okay.
Into moves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rook takes bishop b5, rook takes rook e5, and then d4.
Perfect, thank you. Great. All right, let me grab the microphone.
Yeah. Either one works.
Yes, that's correct.
I just prefer being stylish with it.
Okay, here is one more. Here. Wait, don't look. Here.
Okay.
Just try solving this one. This here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
One, two, three, maiden 3.
Okay, how do you solve it?
Queen takes a f2 check. Hacker rook takes queen f2. Her rook c. Here one check. Her queen blocks. Her rook takes queen, and then the rook can't move the block because it's pinned by the bishop.
Great. Thank you. What's your name?
Connor Crosby.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you. And please ask your parents if they're okay. Because this is going to be a video for YouTube, okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that.
For this next example, I asked my grandmaster coach to find me a solution. Let's see if he can solve it. Kayden, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Always excited when chess is involved.
Oh, well, listen, here I'm talking about captures, you know, checks, captures, and threats. So this is the second video. You remember we did the first one about calculations.
Yes, and I managed to solve it.
Okay, well, this one is much easier. Black to move. Black to play.
Oh, black to move. I'm thinking about white, okay.
Yes. And just think about like any move and I'll help you. There is no particular tactic. Just what move would you play here?
First instinct, if I'm black, is I'm thinking about this f2 pawn. Particularly rook takes f2 is kind of my first... It's kind of my first instinct that I would think about. I mean, it's a capture. It's a huge threat. Like if I get another move, I win. And I'm starting with the rook because after rook takes, I like that it's pinned and it feels very dangerous to me. So that's definitely the start of my thought process. And I feel like that's what black should play. I'm kind of worried about queen h2, so it feels like black needs to do something right here, right now.
You're worried about queen h2. Now tell me, why are you worried about queen h2?
Thinking that it was white to move, so I'm like, oh yeah, white, maybe plays queen h2 and just tries to trade queens because black has a lot of pressure on the king. So when your king's in danger and queens are on the board, trading queens is typically number one that you should try to accomplish.
All right, so prophylactical thinking. What move would you play here in order to avoid the trade?
I mean, if we're just trying to avoid the trade, first thought comes to mind king g8.
But then I check you, it's annoying.
It is annoying.
Anand Topalov, 2001.
Topalov, 2001?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so second thought, if I had a second thought, which I did not.
Great.
I guess you have this sort of... Oh, okay. I'm actually really interested in the move rook f4. Yeah, it's all coming together.
Rook f4, stopping queen h2, and black's attack is tremendous. And just like my coach said, when you are under attack, you really want to trade queens. Meaning when you have the momentum, you don't want to kill it. You have to keep the queens on the board, especially with a pawn down. Okay, Coach Kayden, another exercise for you. In this position, black has just played knight to f6. Your turn.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I already have this one. Maybe it's the blitz and bullet I play kicking into action, but first thought that comes to mind with knight f6 just being played, of course, checks, captures, threats. I now have a capture, And especially catches my attention because after the capture, pawn takes, then bishop h6 would threaten checkmate. And if I was black, I'd be really worried about that, because if you try to defend against the checkmate with the queen, then this rook will be hanging, and black is pretty much toast. So
Awesome. So just first and foremost, what are your candidate moves when you look at this position? Do you look at checks?
I would look at checks, but of course here the checks pretty quickly. My queen's just
Not making
falling.
sense.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at captures.
Yeah.
And there is a capture of the rook. Queen takes b8. Does that make sense?
Doesn't make much sense. It's just, he just takes
Okay.
back and then wait.
So then you just take the knight with the rook.
So I will additionally say something that I've come to prioritize a lot more as I've gotten more and more into chess is checkmate threats. It's checks, captures, threats, but if that threat's a checkmate threat, then
Nice, wonderful. And now if queen moves, you can show us.
Yeah, so queen here or here, same issue. I'm going to pick up this rook with check. And unfortunately for black, that doesn't even stop the checkmate. King f7. Let's follow through. Queen f8.
Awesome. Black's last move has been rook to f7. How do we proceed, Coach Kayden?
Ooh, okay. First move that catches my attention is actually rook takes h5. That's a capture and a check.
Good.
So I'm going to think through that. Pawn takes, queen takes. Now, a little hesitant because king g8, black's feeling a little bit safe. So as I'm thinking about that, I start to notice there is another capture. Rook takes g6, and I'm seeing some big issues for black. Of course, if we take the pawn, he's going to want to play rook takes g6. And now this rook takes h5 move comes with even more devastating force. Rook and queen supported. Rook can't really block the bishop's spin, so I'd take that for free. And if king slides, rook h8, bishop takes, queen takes, checkmate.
Okay, can you show us? I think Coach Bortnik approves your theory. Okay, now?
Okay, so as I said, rook takes a pawn out of here.
Rook takes.
Of course, he's not going to let us get away with that.
Okay.
Rook takes g6.
So now we take this one.
Yeah.
We don't want them to sacrifice because we'll take. Just take it's a pain. So if king moves.
And then, boom, rook h8.
But if I capture,
And queen takes gg, get out of here.
and if I take this one.
Well, then we're going to have a conversation.
Oh, oh, God. Okay. Great. Awesome. You forgot this one. Bishop takes bishop. And it's a caption and it's a check. And then you take, and then you can take rook to h5. You forgot to mention that. And after pawn takes, there is queen takes h5. How is that not a checkmate? There are a few common mistakes with captures that you should absolutely know. Number 1, taking pieces without considering the opponent's counterplay. Number 2, sacrificing too much for doubtful tactical gains. Number 3, ignoring your development when capturing your opponent's pieces, which is accepting gambits. Number 4, taking pieces that your opponent can easily replace. For example, grabbing a pawn but losing a stronger piece. Number 5, neglecting a king safety in favor of capture. Wrong. Now, when you're thinking about the move, how do you actually include captures in your thoughts? Just always ask yourself those key questions. Can I take something? What capture can improve my position? How do captures fit into my overall plan? Always use the CCT rule. If there is no check, look for captures. Captures are a key part of chess strategy and tactics. Learn how to spot when to take and not to take, and don't hold yourself back. In the next video, I'll cover the final element of the CCT method, threats. Don't miss it. If you're ready for the next step, I have a school, Russian Chess School. You can try it for absolutely free for 7 days. You won't regret. If you found this video, please do not forget to put the like and subscribe if you want to learn how to get better at chess for free.